So ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome you to this spring seminar. It's the first time for me in this position, so I would like to welcome you also, not only from my side, but also from the side of my colleagues from the Vienna Institute for International Economic Studies. But this occasion also, thanks again for hosting this conference. You said it's the fourth time, so it becomes already a tradition, so next year we might then be happy to celebrate the fifth time of this event here in this room. So thanks again for giving us this opportunity here. Well, you presented a kind of, say, rather optimistic picture of the European economy and also maybe of the neighborhood apart from some countries. This is a bit at odds with the overall title of the seminar we have chosen, which is called Europe's Integration Challenged. When we thought about the title and the program of the seminar, I think there was a kind of agreement that the European Union and Europe as a whole has entered kind of a new phase of development in political dimensions, in economic dimensions, and maybe also in social dimensions. So basically, the feeling is a bit up to the crisis. There has been a more or less common understanding that European integration, on the one hand, needs some deepening of the European Union, but also a widening perspective. And the European Union has again progressed in these two dimensions, well, at different speeds maybe, not without some difficulties, not undisputed in several aspects, but nonetheless there was a kind of movement in both of these directions. There have been also a number of events at this period marking this progress. So for example, with respect to deepening, well, of course we had the phase of integration of the EU in the single market. We had the establishment of the four freedoms, the movement of goods, movement of services, establishment of enterprises, movement of workers, and movement of capital. And also, well, culminated maybe in a kind of adoption of the common currency of nowadays 19 member states in the EU. And there has also been a kind of aspect for widening of the European Union, particularly the integration of the Eastern European countries in the beginning of this century. So in 2004, the entrance of 8 of them, and then later on also Romania and Bulgaria. And there was a kind of discussion on the further widening of the European Union with respect to Western Balkan countries, and also, well, even Turkey, and also kind of agreement on a European neighborhood policy fostering economic and political association of the non-European member states and further away countries. However, it seems that this progress in these directions may be also underpinned and supported by kind of favorable conditions in the world economy, hit a number of aspects in this phase already that evolved underneath, but became apparent particularly in the crisis, and now emanate in kind of growing or still established large internal imbalances within the EU 28. Some kinds of tendencies of agglomeration of particular activities in the core of countries where some of Austria, Germany, and the Eastern European countries become part. But this was a kind of agglomeration of high-tech activities in these countries, which basically, by definition almost, diminish the opportunities for other peripheral countries in other regions in Europe, and has contributed to these general imbalances. Well, the start of the crisis, and well, it's now almost 10 years ago that the crisis has emanated, has basically unmasked these challenges and these problems in a very rapid and unpleasant way. The EU 28 is nowadays characterized by a strongly diverging economic performance across member states, maybe mostly visible in terms of unemployment rates, which in some countries still go up to 20% and even higher. And we're now having a phase of sluggish world growth and sluggish world performance, partly driven by sluggish or less rapid development in some of the emerging economies, like China, which has kind of predicted lower growth at 6%, but also other economies like Brazil entering a recession phase, and of course Russia. And this is also in the same time when the political and economic situations in other European neighborhood countries, including the Middle East, becoming worse and worse and being at the root of what is now called in Europe the refugee crisis. So these developments, together with some political repercussions in some European countries, erupt basically nowadays in various conflict of interests amongst EU member states, which challenges this further process of European integration in these both dimensions, widening and deepening. So basically, these considerations result in a rather unpleasant conclusion that particularly in a phase when Europe faces a number of internal and external challenges, in times when cooperative action is very much needed, exactly this cooperative action and this cooperative movement become less likely to happen. And this is basically bringing me back now to the program and the title of the program, what is the European integration challenged in these days. So this is the general background for the whole day, and we have a couple of aspects to be covered on that. I'm sure we cannot answer the question, but we can address those. And over the day, we will address some of those. The program, as you see in the folder, is that our new president of the Vienna Institute, Hannes Swoboda, will start this discussion today, reminding us of the variety of challenges the European Union and Europe as a whole is currently facing. After that, Professor Danuta Hübner, having a very long-term experience in all parts of European politics, will hopefully enlighten us and give us some aspects in her keynote address and how these challenges are going to be addressed and what could be potential solutions in a broader perspective and in a medium time frame. After the coffee break, then, our staff economist, Gabor Hunya, will present the WEW's forecast on the development in this region, which has traditionally been the focus of the institutes for almost 50 years now, and also not only in the region but also in the Western Balkan countries and beyond in some CIS countries. This is followed by a presentation by Mari Holzner, Deputy Director at the Institute, who will point out some challenges, particularly important for the Western Balkan economies with respect to their competitiveness, and particularly hinting at the need for public investment in infrastructure in this region. After the lunch break, we will start the afternoon session then by introducing this global dimension, and we have chosen one topic and one particular country which has driven world performance before the crisis quite a lot. This is China. Professor Peter Nolan, I think one of the foremost scholars on the Chinese economy, will tell us if there are opportunities the way China shall play, could play, or will play a more active role in the global economy, and what is the Chinese strategy of internationalization which might come over the next years. This is then followed by a presentation by our expert on Russia and the CIS region, Peter Havlik, on what this China's strategy might imply for Russia and the Eurasian countries. And finally, the program finishes with two presentations of our in-house research. The first one of these presentations addresses one issue which also have been shown in the slides here, the constraints of credits with respect to R&D investment, and as focusing on the CSEE region and CS countries, which also means on investment with respect to machinery and equipment investments. And finally, last but not least, our still active scientific director, Michael Landesmann, will discuss various aspects of the crisis which all of one is very much aware of and is one of the most concerns with respect to the integration challenges and the disintegration challenge of Europe, namely various aspects about the refugee crisis and the corresponding migration challenges for the EU and the European Union as a whole. So I'm sure and I hope that these topics will provide enough room for a kind of interesting insights and interesting discussions over the whole day. Thank you.